Hi, Susan Norwell here, talking about topic boards on devices, the when, the why, and the how. This is something I run into a lot in schools in particular, but also in families, but more so in schools. And there's a lot of debate about topic boards, but I'd like to kind of give you my take on it. First of all, language systems have a lot of research behind them, and so maybe reorganizing it may not make it better. I always say that, the people that are making these language systems certainly have a little bit more research behind what they're doing than I have been able to do. And so I don't second guess them a great deal. I look at how it would work for an individual kiddo and may make some adaptations here and there, but I'm not going to reorganize the language system. Words should be in consistent locations across the system. So if you find a word in different locations, go ahead. Then, make sure that that's consistent. But reorganizing the entire thing to fit what your kiddo needs at that point in time, I think that's the tough thing is kids change and grow and learn, and those language systems are really looking more forward than just at one particular point in time. The other thing you need to think about is how many clicks away is the word that they need. So if you're going to add something in, how far away is it? Why do you need it? How are they going to get to it? And how are they going to understand the linkage of why it's where it is? So those are some big questions. So topic boards can be helpful. They can be a bridge to beginners learning to communicate and combine. I have a little 2-year-old who's on a device and probably not going to just throw them into the home page and go for it. It can be helpful for them to have some topic pages that contain core to help them learn to communicate and combine, learn the importance of communicating without those little eyes that are so excited to be zooming around the place that they lose the idea that this is for communication. They can be helpful in school for learning content or for accessing content. I shouldn't say learning it, more accessing content, if they are organized in a way that fits the organization of the language system. And they can be really helpful in social situations where stress can be higher because the kid is so motivated to want to do whatever it is they're going to do, whether it's hang out with their friends and talk about what they did last night, or go into a restaurant and order something, or the various locations and places and situations they may use their device. We could make it a little bit easier for them. Whereas their entire language system, they may be more comfortable using when they're in a more relaxed situation without any time constraints or time pressure on them. But, and I have an octopus here for a reason, because oftentimes when I look at systems, it's like things are on the end of these tentacles, and I wonder how in the world is this kiddo going to get there? It's linked so far away, it's like a navigation nightmare. And what's the reasoning behind putting it there? How did it get there? So some of the negative things about topic boards is it can be a one-off. Like I used to do a lot of inclusion work. I was a consult in a district that my kids went to school at, and we were bringing back all of our kids with autism. And so I had them at the elementary, the middle school, and the junior high. And they would sometimes say, maybe we should adapt this. We're going to have this, this assembly. And I'm like, okay, how often are we having this assembly? Once. Nah, I don't think we're going to put a lot of effort into this one-off. We're going to have some general language, some core language that we can be using in this situation, commenting. But if they've got a whole bunch of reptiles, am I going to have every single reptile on their device? Probably not, unless some are already there and then we can go to that page. But those one-offs, if we are going to keep doing the one-offs, we're going to be trying to put everything in the world on their device. And that's why I'm going to make this point once, and I may make it other times just because I think it's that important. If we want our kiddos to be fully communicative, they do need to learn to write. That's why literacy is so important. You're never going to put everything on somebody's device, ever. You can't, and you shouldn't. It would make it too hard to get to things. That's why writing can be very efficient. 26 letters can say anything you want. I just was sitting in on an IEP where they admitted that they put this language on her device. I still don't know where the location is, for the literacy topic of the week, and then it goes away. They take it away and put the new language in. So here's my question. If it's important enough to put it in there to begin with, A, why would we take it away? And B, had anybody done a search to see if that language was already on the device? Because it's already on the device, part of the language system. That child should be learning that language system and where to find it. That is a big question, is have you ever looked to see what? So I had a school say to me once, this was when I had a lot of kids running Sonoflex, and they had a combination of core words, fringe words, and a lot of good topics. I will say, I thought their contexts were really good. In fact, I'm trying to mimic a lot of them in SuperCore, because I think they are really, really good for kids. Anyway, they said to me, we need a circle time board for her so she can participate. And I went, have you looked in the context? There's a circle time thing right here. And I showed it to them. They went, oh, this has everything we want. They had never even looked to see if it could be on our device already. So this octopus idea really can lead to a real lack of organization in the system. And if I think it's hard for me to figure out, imagine what it might be for the kiddo to figure it out. Now, of course, there's always a debate. I love this because this so applies to Rett syndrome. Is that a yes or is that a no? It's like we're always trying to deal with that, aren't we? So there will be some that are in the camp of, and this used to be, ages ago, we're going to have all topic boards. Okay, that gets to be a bit cumbersome. Then we have other people on the other side of the coin that say, oh, no, we are having no topic boards. They're just going to be thrown into their language system, this whole system, and they're going to learn the system. I tend to be right here in the middle. And I'm usually not in the middle about too many things, but I definitely am here. Like writing, I am not in the middle. That is all kids learn to write. But I think a blend of both really is helpful to a kiddo with Rett syndrome, because gosh, what about those Rett days? What about those days when the dystonia is so bad or they've just had a seizure and now I'm expecting them to use their full language system to tell me what's going on? Boy, a topic board would be really helpful for them so that they have a way to say what they need in the easiest way possible. So here's some examples just to give you an idea of what things can look like. So this is SnapCore, and this is actually downloaded from PageSet Central. So I was looking for some things for a teenager, and actually her mom had put together a bunch of pages. I went out and looked for some more pages, and this was the one she had found for the nail salon. She goes, I think it'd be great for her to have one for the nail salon. Oh yeah, I do too, except what the heck can she say here? It's really all just phrases. She's got 16 things to say and she's done. So I took the phrases because I like the phrases. I think the phrases are really good. But what I did was embed the phrases into the core words, similarly to the way that Jan and Callie did when they did the Rett pages. These are the Rett pages that you're going to be seeing in SnapCore. Because I really want them to have those basic pages that they're used to seeing all the time with their other language around it. To me, that makes sense. So let's see the navigation of how we get here. So now let's take a look at, you saw the first page and then the second page. Let's see how easy it is to get there. So here's the home page in Snap. There's the topic page. Here's the out and about page. And here's the nail salon page. So 3 clicks. And I think that what we have to start thinking about is how easy is it to get to places and how organized are those places. So these are the Rett pages. And so Callie and Jen already did a really good job of taking a look at all the topic pages that are there. I mean, there's just tons of them. They were all phrase-based and added in like the reading page. So I modeled mine, looked at their reading page and said, well, I kind of like the layout of that. It looks the same as the core pages, except some of this language changes depending on the topic, but it's the same organization. And it's the organization that I think is really, really important. So here's another example of some topic boards. This is Grid 3, Supercore 30. And so this is a topic board for eating. Now what happens here is a little bit different. The core words stay the same, and the added vocabulary comes into play on the side. So you can say not hungry, want cookie. You can really start to build, and this language is exactly the same with the core exactly the same. So this is Grid 30, and I will show you Grid 50. But it has topics arranged in such a way that, like if you go to daily, these are things that happen throughout the day, and we can always add them. But if you look at, let's say, eating and drinking, its layout of these pages mirror exactly what is on the home page. The added vocabulary that you might need for that topic is to the right. So you can say not hungry. More to eat. More cookie. That would be me. I'd want to see the cookie first. So, but you've also got some more words that you can add in. So want more. There's some phrases. There's some foods that you would personalize to fit the child's needs. And when you jump back, you're right back where you were. You're back into that topic, so that you can then go forward, just kind of like stay back and forth between those core words. Even the questions and the actions and the describing words are there that would be on the home page, but the topic words are added in. So you can see from this that you really have a lot of that core words that you need to keep reinforcing, plus the other words that are topic centered, so that the kiddo can kind of stay in one place. Now, one of the other advantages of Grid, and this is Supercore 30, is I have made sure that there is a pin on each page, which means when I hit this pin, this page is locked in. They can't navigate out. Same thing with Supercore 50. I made sure there's a pin on every page, because when I want to model, especially for beginners, my goodness, they're flying all over the place. You can barely keep up with them. And what you want to do is you want to have them have enough repetitions with that language so that they can stay put. All right, this is Supercore 50. Gives you a lot more language, gives you a lot more core, a lot more little words, gives you more of all of those topics that we saw in 30 that have to be on 2 pages are on 1 page. So just to give you an idea. We're going to take... So let's take a look at the navigation in Grid 3 Supercore. And I think I went a little bit early here, so let me go back. And I'm going to give you these examples, which I just hopped right over, is if the area that I find to be needed the most in schools for topics is like when you get to science and social studies and that kind of vocabulary. So this is from the school page. We go into science. And look we've got all of these really nice science words. That's different. This is fun. I need to guess. Let's discover. We need to look at it. I have an idea. But look you keep your core so that any language that is in the core already, you don't have to repeat over here. Then when you click the more language, you get, this is a plant one, so this is on plants. You've got those same science words, but now you have some words specific to plants. And see how there's a lot of room, because depending on the age, there might be photosynthesis on this page. There might be different parts to a plant on this page. And we might want to link things off this page, like from flower. If we wanted to have the parts of a flower, well, that would be funny. But the parts of a flower, you could link off of that. But what does that do? That says to the child, I'm in science. The thing we're studying is plants. My vocabulary is going to be linking off of this, so I don't have to think about where, pistol's going to be. Isn't that one of the pistils? It was a pestle. I don't know. I think it's one of the parts of a plant. Is a pistil. Yes. And so where do I have to go? It's a pretty easy cognitive association to put them in a place that's logical and organized. So let's look at the navigation piece here. So let's take a look at the navigation in Grid 3 Supercore 50. We've got a little bit more language here. Still have a really good solid core that's organized in a certain way. You've got your fringe vocabulary down here. We've got this school place where schools are really into specific vocabulary related to things. And sometimes they like to the detriment of a language system, add things in. So I have schools that, want to create a topic for everything they're doing. We kind of discussed that a little bit earlier. But let's go down to science. So look, we're one stop away, just one click away, and we're into science. And we've got our core words, access to our fringe, plus these words on the side that are specific to science. Now, when we add more words, we've got a look at some topics that have been created in science. We've got plants, so you've got some vocabulary. Now, you might want to add more vocabulary. You might even want to add more verbing depending on how you're teaching, but it's got a lot of flexibility. And again, I just jumped back. There I am to my other topics in case we're going to also pull in some language on, seasons when we're talking about plants. Things do overlap a bit. We go back one more and there we are in our core page with our added science vocabulary. So I want things to be snugged up. I always say to people, think about first, if you're going to add something, do you really need to add it or is it already there? If you need to add it because you would like it grouped with some other language to make it easy for the kid to access, hey, that's fine. But let's link it logically. Let's not having it hang off the octopus so far that nobody can have the cognitive ability, and I don't mean because they're not smart, but the cognitive ability to be juggling navigation, where things are, the visual task, the learning they're doing, and now I've got to figure out, how did you link it? Why is it hanging over here? Because it's got no linkage to anything that makes sense. This makes sense to me. So what we're looking at here in terms of grids is just being topic grids, is being judicious. We don't need one for everything. So the what, the how. What do we need it for? Is it going to be a topic that we're going to be studying for an hour? Forget it. Is it going to be something that we're going to be studying for a couple of weeks? Well, that's legit. Do we see in the curriculum the fact that they study plants maybe in second grade and then they add to that knowledge when they get to fourth grade? We start to look at the scope and sequence of what kids are doing in school, and we could be doing plants, a number of times before they graduate grade school, and we can keep adding more complex vocabulary as we go along. So that's important. The other thing is, what's the linkage? What's going to make sense? How are they going to be able to find it and remember where it is? That is important. And if it's logical, then those associations are just much easier to make, not only for the child, but also for the people that are modeling the language. And that's why it's so great to have Magic Word, because we can go in and we can do a search to find words, and anything we add is searchable. So that is really good. And then we have to say to ourselves, if the language is readily available somewhere else, is this the time where we want them to get to it? Or is this the time where we need to make it easier? When you're in a social group, sometimes it's better to make it easier so they can be quicker. If I'm in a group doing a group science project, do I need my kiddo to be a little faster? Yeah, because kids talk really fast. So it's this kind of push and pull between the none and the always, but really thinking about when it's best to have a topic. And for Petey's sakes, do not get rid of the language and replace it. So you have a page on your device that's, vocabulary of the week. Wow, that's really horrible. Because it keeps, wonder if that one of the words I learned I really want to use, and I go in next week to get it, and I'm like, holy cow, where'd it go? So that's where, when we've got language of the week, like for a book, or language of the week in LA, something that we're doing, boy, I want somebody doing a magic wand or a search in Snap. And I want them saying, is that language already here? And darn it, we are going to create, when we do magic words and when you do it in Snap, it creates a pathway for you. If we need to take pictures of that pathway so that people that are working with the kiddo can get to that language easily and model, then that's what we'll do versus having a vocab page that disappears every day. So hopefully this all makes sense. That's my email in case some part of it didn't make sense and you want to email me. And thank you for joining me at Rett University. And hope to see you at least virtually soon. Bye.